I'm Chloe. I am president of the National Speech, Language, and Hearing Association chapter at Queens College.
Hi, I'm Ruthie Shanae. I'm vice president of NSSLHA.
When I was younger, and past experiences as one of my cousins has a severe stutter, and it had impacted every part of his life. He had severe confidence issues. There wasn't so much access to speech pathologists to get this therapy that he needed. So I knew that that was definitely something that I wanted to do. I was always interested in the helping profession, sort of the medical field and all of that.
In high school, I used to volunteer with special needs children, and I loved helping people. And I decided at that moment I wanted to do something where I knew I'd make an impact. So I was talking to my boss, and she said to me, "Ruth, you should be a speech-language pathologist." And I thought, perfect, I'm going to do that. So once I already went into college, knowing I was going to be a speech-language pathologist, I stuck with it.
Speech-language pathology is not very visible, especially on campus, I would say.
The beauty of speech pathology is there's so many different ranges. You could work with elderly, you could work with kids, you could work with babies.
It's something that you could really get fulfillment from, and I thought it was very interesting.
When you're more at a hospital, it's more defining, and I feel like speech is so broad.
I've had quite a few internships that were sort of geared towards speech pathology. In the past summer, I was a JFU intern. I actually interned at St. Mary's Children's Hospital, which was an actually fantastic experience. I worked in the feeding program, and I got to see what it was like for speech pathologists that were working on the medical aspect of things. They were working with children with severe speech and feeding disorders, but it was mostly feeding based. So it was feeding therapy that we would watch every day. We would be in modified barium swallow studies. We'd get to see the medical aspect and the x-rays and see what the different swallowing disorders were and how they were treated.
I shadowed a speech-language pathologist, and she worked with autistic kids. These kids were nonverbal, which is heartbreaking because if they can't communicate, it's like, imagine if you want to say I have to go to the bathroom and they physically can't say it, sometimes they'd run out of the room. But then also I worked with autistic kids that were verbal, but they didn't have the social skills, so they would just not be able to get their message across. So the purpose of it was practicing saying book, and connecting, oh, you want to put your book on the table, and being repetitive. When they get older, sometimes it's very heartbreaking because they're I can't communicate, so sometimes they get physical because they want to get their message across and they can't. That's why the beauty of speech pathology is you have to start young.
Speech-language pathology is a field where you'd have to get your undergrad and your master's to be a speech pathologist, but what speech pathologists do is they work with adults and children with feeding disorders, with speech disorders, with language disorders, trying to help people communicate as best as they can after traumatic brain injuries, strokes, or children that are born with autism or any other disabilities.
I think it's important to be very informative and to be knowledgeable about the topic so you can explain to others, but also even telling your friends, your family.
It's definitely something that you need to be on top of. I'm sure doctors do recommend, your child needs speech therapy services, and we do have assessments that are done, but it's definitely, in some parts of the world, there's not really that access.
In freshman year, I remember the president came into our first year classes and said, "Everyone, come to NSSLHA." So I said, sure, why not? And I went to NSSLHA. And NSSLHA, the beauty of it is that they have so many different events. It ranges from social to professional and to the future, such as graduate school.
We are a part of a national club, so there's chapters of NSSLHA throughout the country at, I would say, almost every school that has a speech department. It's sort of to connect students that are interested in speech-language pathology and in audiology, kind of give people a social circle that are interested in the same field. We do social events, we do informative events to teach students how to apply for grad school, how to get into grad school, how to find internship opportunities. We set students up for success in that way.
So through those different events, I'm wow, I want to be involved more. I don't want to just be a passerby and sit there, so that's how I decided to take the next step and be a leadership position, such as vice president. So the goal of NSSLHA is to spread information about the speech-language pathology field. And once you join NSSLHA, you have the educational point and the social point.
We also have a lot of meetings with professors as speakers and outside speakers as well that are speech pathologists or audiologists, and they would come in. And we also have professors come and discuss graduate school admissions and personal statement writing, just kind of giving students the skills that they need to succeed.
You have to hear from different people to understand it.
You kind of get to get all the details and see what it would be like actually post-grad after graduate school.
I'm so grateful that I chose speech pathology because I'm passionate about helping people and specifically helping people communicate.
Anyone can have a speech or language disorder or a feeding disorder. It could be anyone. It could be someone that had an acquired disease or an acquired disorder like a stroke or anything like that, or it could be someone who was born with it.
So the goal of speech pathology is help people communicate to their best of their ability.
I would say that initial is open to everybody. Anyone can attend, even if you're not sure if you want to be a speech language pathologist or an audiologist. You can attend, see what it's like, meet the community, see if it's something that could be for you. It's not something that you have to be in this program to join. It's for everyone.
What we do is we advertise on social media and we go into classes and say, oh, by the way, we have initial meeting, and also word of mouth, it spreads. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going initial, what are you doing over break? Oh, okay, I'll come.
We do have planned events from the beginning of the semester, so as long as we have the room for that event, it's fine. It's great, it works out, and it's also good that it's in Queens Hall because the communication sciences and disorders major, all the classes are in Queens Hall. As long as there's leadership, as long as we're getting a new president, new vice president, new secretary, new treasurer every year, and we do have that interest, as long as the speech program is here, we do have that interest and that need to have this program, to have this club available so people can make their social circle, meet new people, and also to get the information that's needed to continue on to graduate school.